Hi, everybody, and welcome back. My name's Melissa, and this year I'm sharing 365 tips for frugal living. Today's tip is babies do not need as much as you think they do. So today I went and I do Shipt, which, in case you don't know, I shop for other people and deliver them. And today I discovered the most useless, over the top, ridiculous waste of resources, money, everything. So, we all know that a lot of people use formula. A lot. And I'm not judging. I had to use formula with my kid. There were breastfeeding challenges, and it put me in the hospital, not from breastfeeding, but from trying to produce milk. I almost had a heart attack. At that point, the lactation consultant came in and said, "How did you manage to get them to prescribe that?" And uh, the doctor took me off the script, and I had to dump the milk, and it was tragic. But that's another story. Anyways, so I'm not criticizing women who use formula. I recognize that for some of us there isn't a choice. For some of us it's a personal choice. Me, I always planned on breastfeeding. For me, even as a young child, I always thought that was going to be it, but it didn't happen. So 100%, I never judge people for, and I mean, I didn't judge people beforehand. I just always when I was younger, I always looked just why would you pay so much for formula when breast milk is free? Because that's truly how I looked at it. I was like, dude, you're like producing free formula. But so this isn't about that. But uh, it was now my kid had stomach issues too, so lots of complications. I feel like I spent a ridiculous amount of money on formula because they had to have the formula that was ready made, like where you just literally put it in a bottle or put a thing on it or whatever and wet. And then around the 3 month to 6 month mark, they were able to convert over to the 50-50 mix where it was still liquid. And then I was able to mix it 50% with water. So it was expensive. And then they had it, I don't know. I must have done the boiling water thing. I know I didn't have a bottle warmer because I had no bottle stuff because I had every intention of breastfeeding. I didn't have a pump or anything initially. Which I don't know why I didn't get a pump. I knew I was going to go back to work when they were 3 months. So I knew I was going to need a pump eventually, but maybe it's just because I didn't have time because I was, in the hospital. But I must have done the boil method because I didn't have a bottle warmer and I know better than to put it in the microwave. But it wasn't that hard. I mean, it wasn't terribly difficult. And then you know, but I have babysat and I get that the powder doesn't dissolve quite as quickly as the, liquid where you mix it 50-50. But, it's not like it's hard to dissolve. You shake it a little. And, then you can do the boil method or put it in a bottle warmer. And I'm not necessarily faulting people for using a bottle warmer, but anyways, this was a machine where you put the dry formula in the machine and you put the baby water in the machine, and it mixes it and gives you in 1 ounce increments from 2 to 10 ounces. I want to say it was 2 to 9 or 10 ounces bottles And you can choose room temperature, which again, if it's going to be room temperature, it's called the counter. Keep the water there. Body temperature or slightly warmer than body temperature. Those are your three choices. And then you press a button and it apparently like mixes it all, puts it in the bottle, whatever temperature, ready to go. Obviously then you still have to put on the nipple. But that just seems like a lot. And you know, you only feed a baby formula for the first year of life. Most people do not have a ton of kids now. Most people have 1 to 3 kids. You know, and most people I know only have 1 or 2. So it's not going to be used for more than, you know, a few years. And then it's just what? Waste for the landfill. And so how much would you think something like that would cost? You put the formula in, the dry formula mix, the water, it mixes it on its own. You have the 3 temperature settings, and then it pours you out the bottle. And it's supposed to only take seconds. How much would you think that would cost? I'm going to pause and let you guys think about that for like 10 seconds. Leave it in the comments if you want. Okay, sorry, I used to be a teacher, so that's how I like count seconds. $200. It was $199.99 plus tax. That's a lot of stinking money. So that you don't have to shake a bottle. So that you don't have to pour. I mean, like, it's not that hard. And then, you know, I see, if I'm going to go to a baby shower and I'm going to buy clothes for the baby, I never buy newborn clothes. I normally buy like 3 to 6 or 6 to 9 months. Because the thing is that mom is going to get so many newborn clothes. More clothes than the baby can possibly wear. You know what that baby's going to need for a year? Sleepers and onesies. And you can buy them in bigger sizes, and then they have those. You know, because a baby's not going to need 37 different onesies that are a newborn size. They're going to be out of them in a flash. And that's assuming they even ever fit into them. I was a 10-pound, 4-ounce baby. I was a month overdue. I was supposed to be born on Christmas. I was born at the end of January. And I was huge. I don't think I ever fit into newborn clothes. So all those clothes would have went to waste. And mom's always like pre-wash them so that they're ready when the baby comes home and everything. But I mean, babies don't need as much. You don't need to make it so complicated. And I'm not saying they don't need any new stuff. Like, car seats do expire. They legitimately expire. The materials wear out that are designed to protect the baby. So, you know, you should never buy a used car seat. You should follow the expiration dates because, well, optimally, you never want to get an accident. You don't want that car seat to fail if you do. Cribs, you want to, you know, get a newer crib because of safety issues. So I'm not saying babies don't need anything. You know, I'm not saying, you know, go get the old lead painted crib from, you know, the basement with bars this far apart, you know, so that the baby strangles itself. I'm saying don't be so excessive. I mean, God, I hate commercialism. I hate capitalism. And I hate the factor that we spend so damn much in our society. We waste so much money. And it starts from birth. It doesn't need to be that way. It doesn't. Babies don't need every toy in the world. I mean, human beings, we're a pretty simple species, especially at birth. You need a lot of attention as a baby. You need that cuddle. You need, interaction. The best thing you can do for your baby is interact with it. That's a fact. But your baby doesn't need a bazillion toys. They need something to engage them. They need you to communicate with them. That's a big one. I used to teach preschool, and the number of kids who just, do you want this or that? And so they all had speech delays because of it. So that's today's tip for frugal living. Babies do not need as much as you think they do. So the next time you're going to shower, do the mom a favor. Get clothes in a bigger size. If you yourself are having a baby, congratulations. But think about what you really need. Because chances are you do not need everything that Target or the influencer mommy is telling you. You don't need to do all of that. First year of life, absolutely amazing, and they grow so much, but what they need the most is you. Anyways, again, my name is Melissa. This year I'm sharing 365 tips for frugal living. If you want to hear more, please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.